having a brilliant day. You join me in my bedroom today, and my decluttering task for the day is to sort out this closet behind me. Now, I am talking retrospectively because I went in to edit the footage of me doing this declutter and none of the sound recorded, which was so infuriating. But I still wanted to share the footage with you, and normally if it was a sit down and chatty video I'd have just refilmed it, but I was not going to take all of my hard work decluttering and sorting it out to then mess it up on purpose to then film a video, because I think that would actually be bonkers. So unfortunately, as I was filming, none of the sound recorded, but I am going to put the footage together anyway. I'll time-lapse it and voice over it, and so you can see from start to finish the state that was this closet behind me. Honestly, it was so embarrassing. I can't believe you're going to see it. Like, it is that level of embarrassing. But just to show that even if we're trying to be minimal and organised, that some of us even still have incredibly messy spaces in our homes. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll roll the footage now. So here it is. This is the wardrobe in our master bedroom, and I can't believe I'm showing you this. It is so embarrassing. This is my equivalent of Monica's closet in Friends, so it is just a disaster. When we first moved in, which was just over a year ago now, I had everything throughout my house in a particular place. Everything had its home, and then there were just a few bits and pieces that I didn't know where to put them. And so they either ended up in one of two places, and that was the garage, which, to be fair, is pretty untidy. I keep on top of that a little bit better, I would say, than this. And then there was this closet. Now, do not judge me here because it is just atrocious. This is the space where my husband keeps his clothes, and I can also see games in there, books are in there, CDs are in there, random box of cables is in there, and we keep our document files in there because we don't actually have a space for them in our office, which I would love, but at the minute we don't, and they're kind of getting buried, which is not ideal. So I need to get a hold of this. I need to sort it out pretty urgently. Let's get emptying. I think cue time lapse. So I started by taking out all my husband's clothes first, and then I moved on to all the various things that we've been keeping in the bottom. A lot of what is in here is stuff that I have been reluctant to get rid of, even some things from my childhood that I have just not been able to let go of yet. I always think it's nice whenever you're having a clear out of a space just to whip round with your vacuum cleaner to make sure that whilst you've got the opportunity to get in there, that you take the opportunity to clean up the space. I decided to start putting back everything in the lower section of our wardrobe before taking on the top, because the room was just covered in stuff and there wasn't very much space to do that. In that green Ted Baker box just there, I had an empty box lying around. I don't know why, but I just used it to put some books in as a sort of temporary storage. Because of the situation we are currently in, I can't go out to the shops and purchase anything sort of in the way of small storage or shelving units, which would be nice in this space, but it's just not an option right now. So you'll see I'm kind of making do with what I've got, and so I stack things up against that back wall and just place items on the floor, because at the minute that's the best I can do, and when it gets to a point where I can go back out and purchase some storage items for this space in our bedroom, then I will definitely be doing that. Here I start rearranging everything because I wanted those folders to go at the back, because they're not something I'm going to reach for very often, so it made more sense for them to be at the back and at the bottom, out of the way. I also wanted to keep that space on the right hand side clear, just so my husband's got a bit of room should he want to place anything on there. This is his main wardrobe after all, me taking advantage of having a little sit down for a minute there. I then just placed the remaining books, CDs, games around the edges there, just so everything sort of had its place, but keeping the centre of our closet quite open. For a minute I was there talking about The Sims, saying how it was basically my, not childhood, teenagehood. I used to play that game all the time, you couldn't get me off it. And then just stacking up some CDs. Then the last thing to go in this bottom section, other than my husband's clothes, are our files. As I said, I wish I had somewhere in my office to store these, but we don't, and so for now they're just in here where they're easy to access and they contain all our important documents. And then I got back to hanging my husband's clothes up, and that will be the end of that bottom section. Turns out I did a quick count up and the amount of clothes he had looked far more deceptive in the very first clips. He now owns more clothes than I do. I think, if I remember correctly, he was at 78 pieces, where from my last count up of my capsule wardrobe, I'm at 63. I was just so proud of the fact that I have less clothes than my husband. And that is it for the bottom section. Obviously, it is not a Pinterest-worthy closet, but it's functional and that is what I'm looking for. I then made a start on the top section, which actually, when I started pulling things out, there were mainly just spare pillows and blankets up there, and then behind it I had already stacked everything quite neatly. So there wasn't much I decluttered from this section, I just reorganized it and put everything back in a more pleasing way. Again, it is not beautiful, it is just functional, and I did change my mind. You'll see here I started putting the cushions and the blankets back, and then I realised it just looked as cluttered as it did before, so I decided to leave those out. I'm going to keep them in some under the bed storage instead. And this is the finished closet. So up on the top is a very random section. There are all sorts of different bits and pieces up there. I couldn't categorize it into a particular section, but it works for me. I know what's up there and I would know where to go if I was looking for a particular item now. And on the other side is mainly things I've kept from our wedding, so obviously memories are there, sentimental things I didn't want to get rid of. Then my husband's clothes on this side are his work clothes, so his trousers and shirts, and then on this side more casual, so hoodies, t-shirts, jeans and shorts. And I left this section quite clear for him in case he wants to put any of his personal items on there. He's got the space to do that now. And down in this section we have board games. We don't have the space in our living room for those. I did declutter one, which I'm going to donate. It's one that I've had since I was a child and it's just not really something I would play as a family game anymore. Books are down there, games, CDs, photo albums, some old university work and our document files. I feel like it's much less cluttered. It actually looks like someone's put things in a particular order rather than just throwing everything together. And that was it. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope, despite the technical problems that I had, I hope you were still able to enjoy the process from start to finish of organising and decluttering a space. Let me know in the comments below what your next decluttering project is going to be. What space in your home are you going to take on next? And let me know how you get on. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I do a lot of decluttering on this channel, so if that's content you're interested in, please subscribe if you're not already. And as always, if you're not already following me on Instagram, I will pop that here. Please go and check that out. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.